This is the EGC 20K Age of Empires 4 tournament. The quarterfinals are on, the last 8 generals are battling it out, and a new war has just begun. Zug Zug, my name's Anuki, stop poking me! Our generals for today, settling to the west and commanding the forces of Rus in blue, it's Hera! To get here, they defeated Young Darkness, Red Noveno, FE Age, Eerie, I Am Magic, and previously, Sora Kuma. Hera's scout is about to discover just how close the starting positions are. Starts like this get me excited. So, settling to the east and leading the mighty Mongols in red, it's Recon, Conqueror of One, Serotonin, Chonk. I love that name, Chonk. Running, Nushilba, and recently, Kapak. Or K-Poch. Why do people have to make such difficult names to pronounce? This is a best of 5, and as we've mentioned, this is Lipany. I think it's my favorite place to be. The maps chosen for this best of 5 are agreed upon by our 2 generals, and that will, of course, alter the nature of how they choose their civilizations throughout the matches. Lipany is a fairly standard arrangement with a few elevated areas, but this is a weird generation. The starting positions are close, most of the elevated areas are way to the south, and there's also a big stealth forest area between our generals. Right, let's do a quick Civ breakdown and reminder, because in this situation, action could happen very soon. When players start this close together, it can encourage rushes, and I'm not saying it will happen, but the possibility is there, especially with Mongols. Double producing units and having access to the stables in the Dark Age is helpful, but Mongols against Rus, well, Rus want to get their hunting bounty score up right away, so they tend to get extra scouts to do that. Everyone else doesn't like that they do that, so in this case, Recon could double produce scouts and try to deny as much wildlife as possible, which means they won't attack early, at least not directly. It's economic damage, long-term damage, and then you end up with a load of deer laying around the place, which seems like such a waste, so both players try and bug it back to base with their scouts carrying the deer. So let's see how the early game pans out, and we'll tackle other civilization things as they pop up. In fact, because I think we've got time to, one of the greatest bonuses that I believe to have been underutilized, particularly against France, is the enhanced palisade walls. Rus can get an extra 20% return on wood, which helps massively to get more walls out, and they have better outposts with more space for villagers. Recon scouts kind of weirding out on us. They want that wolf, or rather they don't want Hera to have the wolf. Hera's getting it though, and careful of the town center's range. That will hurt scouts plenty. Now, I feel like I could go on a long tangent about the unexplored areas of Age of Empires 4 during the EGC specifically, but I'll just pick a piece of wisdom that I've not mentioned yet. I feel like a lot of generals think of walls as all or nothing. Or wall or nothing. Oh, not just casting, but jokes too. You don't have to completely wall yourself in for a wall to be effective. It's about minimizing movement, constricting mobility, creating indirect lines of approach. An incomplete wall can still funnel the enemy, and chances are the enemy will look at an incomplete wall as an advantage, when actually, it might put them at a disadvantage. Hera is speeding their way to the tier 2 bounty bonus, improving their overall food collection as Recon denies this group of deer as Hera's scout is atop the cliff, screaming like Darth Vader, no! Well, they'll grab one though. There's a bunch of wolves around, they can still take those and later on the boars, so they seem on track for getting that tier 3 bonus. More on that story at 6. Over to you, Clive, at the studio. So before we reach the feudal age, why not check out the EGC Discord for their activities and events? You could be the next Hera or Recon. But it's not all about competing. Maybe you just like to watch players who have an extreme sense of devotion, concentrating all their time and energy to avoiding responsibilities or homework. Then that's a good reason to check it out as well. The details are in the video description, along with what we do here at Ironcast. We've got some ambitions of our own, you know, and only you can make it possible. Oh, scout action! So if you would like to be part of a new age, perhaps a fifth age of Age of Empires, then join the Ironcast Discord before you've aged too much, and you'll need a straw to operate a mouse. Skirmish at the berries. Recon has way more scouts. I'd be surprised if anyone dies here, though. They are extremely poor fighters. When the food combat phase is over and all the deer have been collected, Recon scouts will provide a great deal of vision. And this stealth forest, where the Khan sits on the edge of, is weighted against Hera. Recon has a nice spot to hide their troops in. It would be wise to try and have some level of control in this area. Stick an outpost in that, getting rid of the fog of war issues that may plague either general. Okay, I've been waiting for Recon to finish their second landmark. It's the Deer Stones. The Roost Golden Gate was completed just over a minute before. As a time reference, Hera has been able to get an early night train, with more perhaps on their way. Oh, Recon kills a scout with their scout train. Hera doesn't fancy their knight's chances here. It's not the kind of matchup that comes around often. One knight against all those scouts, led by a Khan. Hera is going to want more soldiers to be safe. Hera sends one of their knights to go deal with a boar. One knight can do it. It hurts a bit, but they can do it. So, landmarks. Yes, we got distracted there. The Deer Stones can be especially useful here because you don't have much ground to cover to the enemy's settlement. You could move the Deer Stones up or just stick an outpost down. And an outpost would be exceptionally good inside that stealth forest, giving the Yam network movement speed bonus. Hey, you've got all the coverage you need for a direct attack with the added bonus of a stealth forest. There's an instant payoff here with Deer Stones. The Golden Gate, however, sadly doesn't have that instant payoff. You can get tickets every minute, you can spend on beneficial trade to oversimplify the mechanic, but it's basically a slow resource gain. Great if you end up with a ton of one resource and you want to sell it, then the Golden Gate shines, but only later on will that matter. Second town center is up for Hera. Now this is kind of risky. Again, it comes down to how close the two are together. Ooh, the Khan getting a scout kill. That second town center, it's time and resources spent, which they will benefit from in about 3 minutes if I had to put a time on. Chances are, and it does look like, Recon wants to act much sooner. In the EGC, I feel Mongols have tended to go for a fast castle age, but typically outside of the EGC, the feudal age is where they like to invest and push out, if possible, if they know their enemy is vulnerable. And I would say that Hera is in a vulnerable spot right now. Knights will meet with double-produced spear. Recon is direct unit countering too, and Spearman with a blessing of the gods Yam? Wow, that's gonna be worrisome for Hera. The buff just running out before the Spearmen get to Hera's settlement. We're nowhere near doom and gloom, though. A couple of archery rangers issued for construction. They will make light work of Spearmen. Maybe Hera will add a wooden outpost near the lumberyard soon. They opted not to spend that wood to put it towards a town center instead. They prioritized that. But that's one example of foregoing other benefits to get that town center up. The extra wood gain would help get more archers out, but also having more hands on deck from producing more villagers would do the same thing too. Big movement speed increase, the Spearmen acting like they got boots of haste +2 on, but still not fast enough to catch the scout. Speaking of which, Recon still has all of their scouts. One of them unfortunately has forgot to drop their deer off. Ralph! God damn it, Ralph! This is exactly the kind of reason why you'll never get promoted. Here we go. An exquisite, wonderful, glorious outpost in Felwood Forest. This is brilliant. But I like this. Anuki is still waiting for the day a tower sits upon the cliff's edge, an extravagant ornament upon the mantelpiece, a shining beacon of beauty that penetrates the horizon for all to behold. And from there you'd be able to see a fast castle age for Recon, made possible thanks to all the deer they've collected. No thanks to Ralph though, screw that guy. Hera is also going for that 10, 11-ish minute castle age, so it's the Abbey of Trinity versus the Steps Redoubt. And I say that like the buildings are gonna go arms and legs and fight each other like mech warriors, which sounds a lot like Command & Conquer 6 if they want to try and murder that franchise any more than they frickin' have. This certainly has not gone the way that observational data has dictated. Fast castle age from both players. Well, there was a couple of similar situations that occurred in previous rounds where the players spawned close together, and those matches had a quick resolution. The deer stones are on the move, and the outpost is completed, obviously. So the deer stones are gonna possibly position themselves outside of the stealth forest because the outpost already provides the Yam network movement speed bonus. There's still a boy here to collect, and that would put Hera over the bounty limit for the tier 3 upgrade. And now the deer stones cover a lot of Hera's settlement. But Recon can't attack with what they have. They can try to harass with great difficulty. I think this is all just a part of the next steps in their plan, which relies on castle age technology. I think both Hera and Recon are taking each other quite seriously too, and that's why we've not seen these feudal age pushes. They've both had a week to revise, a week to practice more, a week that could also include panic and anxiety. There's a new lumberyard with a wooden fortress on it, so Hera has not forgotten. They are just mindful in their resource allocation. They might want to try and allocate some more of those lovely resources into a militia capable of defending, or a group of archers capable of skirmishing before an attack happens, thin the herd of Mongols, and get themselves a tower to grant vision over the edge of the forest. Perhaps a tower on some kind of pretty hill. It might be too late for archers though, spring elves being constructed by the men-at-arms, which I expected Recon was waiting for. Recon doesn't need the immense mobility cavalry provides. Men-at-arms with Yam on their feet can happily walk into enemy settlements and sustain a ton of tower and archer fire. Cheap to do too. Hera is in trouble. Now, I don't like to say what players should do. I like to try and say what players are doing, why they're doing it, and what they might be thinking. But in this situation, I think Hera's only chess move to make is crossbows, because if the men-at-arms keep building up, what else is it that you can field? You've got the 2 archery ranges at least, but then you've got to try and deal with the spring elves as well. It's a tough scenario, and this kind of scenario occurs when you delay the production of military units. Has Hera's economy grown enough to be able to catch up on production, not just in terms of size, but units which can counter too? They are working on their own spring elves. That's great. They've got horse archers. Not so great. I don't see what their purpose is here. Do they have a tactics for this fight? With spring elves and horse archers, I can't see a viable one, and I have enough self-esteem to just say that I don't know what Hera is seeing at the moment. Maybe I am wrong. Hera will have to move their wood production somewhere else, though, as Recon continues to build up their siege weapons, maintaining that siege superiority. The battering ram in the distance, just another tool to try and force a response from Hera, something that cannot be ignored. The woodcutters jumping into the tower, taking casualties on entry, and the spring owl dance begins. Back and forth motion, trying to snipe each other. The horse archers find their chance, their moment to shine, killing a single wounded scout. A brave knight will test their mettle. The horse archers barely denting their mettle, and the spring elves should really give them a four-bolt extravaganza. They do. Here's Recon's demonstration of tactics. The knights offer up a distraction. The spring elves have to kill the knights, and once that happens, Recon moves the spring elves up and fires, hitting their target. The horse archers just don't provide the right protection. They cost so much and offer so much less than your average spearman. And now they are also susceptible to spring eld fire. Oh, they've brought the wrong tool for the party. Trying to light the candles of the birthday cake with a spanner in the dark. And it's not even anyone's birthday. Something will light up though, and it's their town center and the white flag. It's on fire and it's up. Rus has been defeated. Victory is claimed by Recon, the first win of this best of 5. Congratulations. Now, do remember to check out the video description. These videos are not monetized, so I'm begging you, please check out the video description. We've got more games to cover and no time to waste. My name's Anuki. I'm gonna have a little cry, and then I'll see you in the next battleground.